Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a huge shift happening across Europe, the major crackdown on EU citizenship.
Yeah, let's just jump right in, because if an EU passport has been on your radar, you need to listen up because the entire landscape is shifting under our feet and it's happening fast.
You know, to put it bluntly, the easy days are over. 2025 was a huge turning point. We saw more countries slam the door on easy citizenship than in any recent year. And I want to be clear, this isn't just a tweak here or there. We're talking about a major policy shift across the entire continent.
Okay, so what's actually changing? Let's break down the new rules that are making that path to an EU passport a whole lot longer and tougher. And the scale of these changes is, well, it's massive. Just look at this. Portugal is trying to double its residency requirement from 5 years to 10. And Poland, they're looking to go from 3 years all the way to 8. Now, some of these proposals are getting pushback for sure, but the trend is crystal clear. They want you to prove you're in it for the long haul.
And listen, it's not just about how long you've been there. France has already pushed through much stricter integration rules. They've actually gotten it done where others have stalled. And believe me, this is setting a huge precedent that every other country in the EU is watching very, very closely.
So what is it? It's called the examen civic. And starting January 1st, 2026, if you want French citizenship, you have to pass this thing. It tests you on everything from French Republican values to how their government works. So you see, it's a huge shift, right? It's not enough to just live there anymore. Now you have to prove you've actually integrated, both culturally and civically. But maybe the biggest shocker of all came out of Italy. In December 2025, they issued an emergency decree that just slammed the brakes on their citizenship by descent program. We're talking about one of the most generous programs in the world, and just like that, a pathway for literally millions of people was cut off overnight. And this right here, this just shows you how unpredictable things have become. They cut it down to just 2 generations back. But here's the real kicker. The change was retroactive. Can you imagine? It hit people who were already deep in the application process. Now, yeah, it's being challenged in court, but the government's message couldn't be clearer. Even long-standing rules can be yanked away at a moment's notice. And it's not just ancestry routes. At the exact same time, another major pathway is getting shut down: investment. Spain, Malta, Cyprus, Bulgaria, you name it, they're all closing their golden visa programs. The message is pretty blunt. The days of buying your way into the EU without real long-term integration are basically over. So the big question is, why? Why is all of this happening right now? What's behind this huge wave of restrictions? Let's dig into the reasons. Okay, a huge piece of the puzzle is who's applying now. The whole dynamic has flipped on its head. It's not the traditional applicant pool anymore. Instead, there's this massive surge of people from the US, from the UK after Brexit, from other Western nations. That completely changes the math for European governments. And if you want to understand the sheer scale of this, just look at this number, 60 million. Italy has a population of about 60 million, and under the old rules, there were potentially another 16 million people of Italian descent who could have claimed citizenship. Think about that. The idea of doubling your population, even just on paper, you can see why that would trigger some major policy changes. So yeah, this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's a reaction to some very real pressures. First off, you've got money. After COVID, governments are really worried about the cost of healthcare for citizens who don't even live there. Then there are security concerns, right? The pandemic made everyone rethink border control. And finally, there's a growing political backlash against what people are calling paper citizens, folks who get all the benefits without ever really integrating or paying taxes. All right, so that's the what and the why of it. But what does all of this actually mean for you if you're still thinking about making this journey? Let's talk about the new path forward. And this table, this really lays out the new reality. It's a trade-off. On one hand, the rewards are bigger than ever. I mean, the ability to live and work in 31 countries, get affordable healthcare, have a solid plan B, that's huge. But the other side of the scale, the commitment, has gotten so much heavier. We're talking 5-10 years of genuine residency. We're talking about proving you can speak the language, that you've truly integrated into the culture. And you have to be super realistic about the timeline now. So step 1, you get residency. That's just the start. Step 2, you have to live there for 5, 7, maybe even 10 plus years. And then, only then, you get to apply. And then application process itself, that can take another 1 to 3 years. So whatever timeline you see advertised, just know that's the absolute bare minimum. The reality is going to be much, much longer.
And this might be the most important thing to remember. Just because you're eligible today doesn't mean you'll be eligible tomorrow. The Italy situation proved, without a doubt, that governments are willing to change the rules right in the middle of the game. So you absolutely cannot take anything for granted.
Now, for any US citizens watching, there's a whole other layer to this. A uniquely American problem, really. The US taxes you based on your citizenship, not where you live. That means even if you move to Europe, you are on the hook for filing complex US taxes, FBAR, FATCA, the whole shebang, forever. So it's a really unique trade-off, right? A huge, lifelong administrative headache in exchange for that incredible freedom to live and work anywhere in Europe.
So where does that leave us? Well, it's pretty clear. The window for getting a casual, just-in-case passport is closing fast. The new reality demands a deep commitment. We're talking a decade or more of your life dedicated to truly integrating into a new country. The reward is still amazing, but the question you have to ask yourself has changed. It's not just, am I eligible anymore? The real question is, am I ready to make this my life?